Hi, Christina here, and today I'm going to take you through the resources that we use for our mini unit on Newfoundland, which we just completed. Now, if you're new here, first of all, welcome. We are studying Canada for the entire year, and part of that is going province by territory in mini unit studies in order to do geography, social studies, art, and some of the language arts as well. Now, I have 5 children. They are currently 10, 8, 7, 4, and 1. And we do this family school style. So we always start off with this book here from the Canada Close-Up series. So it's just called Newfoundland and Labrador. I'll show you what it looks like inside. This is kind of the base for our unit that we do. So this is this book here, and this is for about, I believe it's 6 to 9 year olds is the age range for this one. And then we use this series here. This is Exploring Canada's Geography by Apple Press. And again, it's Newfoundland and Labrador Land and People. And this is for grades 4 through 6. And so I'll show you their binders a little bit later and how we put this together, but we use some of the sheets and extra readings from in here. And then we like to do read-alouds that go along with each province or territory as we do them. So this time, we read this book here. This is SOS Titanic from the Canadian Flyer series, which we have been reading this year. It's quite a simple read with pictures. It was a good book. It brought on a lot of questions about the Titanic. We actually ended up spending some time going off and looking at some videos and footage and information about the Titanic, which was interesting, but that was a good book. And then the second one that we read was this one here. This is Bill Freeman's First Spring on the Grand Banks. This is part of the Baines family series. Now we read Prairie Fire, which is part of the series, when we did Manitoba, I believe it was. And this is book number 3, and that one was book number 7, I think. But if you read them as a series or you read them individually, they can be read as an individual book, and we really like this book. It was a great example of life in Newfoundland, fishing. There's great detail in here about life in the outports. Just a really, really good book. This is gauged for, I think it's 8 to 13 year olds, but I really enjoyed it and my kids really enjoyed it as well. So I'll show you what it looks like inside. This is an older book. These books can be harder to find because they're, some of them are, I think, out of print or hard to find. There's also pictures in here as well of life in Newfoundland at the time and explaining some of what he talks about. For example, here, talking about the different parts of the boat and the sail. It was just a really good book. I'm hoping to get the rest of the series. I like that one. And then my children usually do independent reading as well. So my 7-year-old, we have this here, Saltwater Stories. And he read the story in here called A Whale of a Summer. And it's about whale watching off of the Newfoundland coast. And I'll just show you, it's quite short. It's only that long, and there's just a few pages here and pictures. So really easy, quick read. He liked that one there. And then my 8-year-old and 10-year-old, so grade 3 and 5, they both read this book here. This is part of the Discovering Canada series, and this is the Vikings. So this talks about the Vikings, specifically the Vikings in Canada. I'll give you a look inside there if you can see. So information, there's some activity stuff in here too. Just a quick, easy read for them. So that's the book they read. And then we also watched this video here. This is The Great Canadian Wilderness, and it's actually a series from the Reader's Digest. This one is called The Wild Shore. And so it talked a lot about Newfoundland, part of the Arctic area, just a little bit, and then down kind of through the St. Lawrence area. And it was just under an hour. It was a great visual for the kids to see what the area looked like though, and to talk about some of the wildlife there as well. So we enjoyed that one. So we also did our art project, and for this one, the kids did colorful Newfoundland villages or houses. They have what's called Jelly Bean Row in St. John's, and so they ended up doing pictures. So there's one, and they could choose if they wanted to do like seaside or if they wanted to actually do Jelly Bean Row. And they kind of half and half. And these were done with acrylic paints, so they're much brighter colors. So So that was the kids' artwork, which was great. We didn't try food for this unit. We had previously had crab, and we may try something else kind of as spring arrives here because it's not here yet. So I will turn the camera around and show you their binders, and then I'll show you all the extra books that we used as well for this mini unit. So here's an overview of their binders. 4-year-old, who's a preschooler, 7-year-old, second grader, 8-year-old, third grader, and my 10-year-old who's in 5th grade. So I'll just show you hers first. So she always starts off with a map because she does not want to be left out. And then she just has some coloring pages that she does while she listens. And sometimes she draws her own stuff as well. So that is her binder. And then these are some of those apple press sheets. And I like how it has a good variety. Different cities, history, landscape, First Nation, weather, grid reading, map reading. There's a large variety of items that it covers. So you can see. And then there's always a map at the end, and a quiz, and then note sheets. And he's just learning to take notes. So that's what his looks like. And then typically I just add in some extra sheets the older they get. So here's a look at this one. Oh, needs to be fixed. You can see there's some extra sheets there about icebergs. Oh, these pictures are stuck together. There we go. About Confederation, because Newfoundland was the last province to join. And then there's the map, the quiz, and then notes there. Let's see that. Then for my oldest, again, I just added a few extra sheets in. You can see what his looks like. If I can turn the page here. Oh, it looks like he missed one. Get him to do that. Resources, the Grand Banks. So yeah, quite a variety. Oh, he missed that one too. About the outports and life in them. And then the map, the quiz, and then his notes there. So that is an overview of how we kind of make this work family school style for all the different ages on the subject of Newfoundland. We like to have a big pile of books on hand for our kids just to look through on the topic that we're learning about. Everything from the 1-year-old up to the 10-year-old. So these are the books we had on hand for this unit. This is Farley Mowat, The Black Joke. He's the author of Owls in the Family, if you're familiar with that. So that was one novel we had. Horrible Histories, Vicious Vikings. Not specific to Canada, but still about the Vikings. This one here is Nursery Rhymes of Newfoundland and Labrador. It's just a fun little book with little rhymes and such in there. This one is from the Dear Canada series, Flames and Ashes, The Great Fire Diary of Trifie Windsor, St. John, Newfoundland, 1892. This is a great series as well. So it looks like inside. This one here was for a lot older children or people, but I thought a 10-year-old might be interested. A history and ethnography, I believe you say it, of the Beothuk. Because of course they were First Nations in Newfoundland, that unfortunately they completely died out. They are no longer there. That was an interesting book. And this book here, which we've been using throughout the year, is by Donna Ward, Canada's Natives Long Ago. We didn't use it this unit, but we will be using it again in the future. That's what that looks like there. This is Native Nations of the Arctic and Subarctic. We've had this book a few times. You can see what it looks like in here. This one here is another Viking book. And it's, oh, It is kind of got lots of pictures, lots of little explanations. So it's that kind of a book there. And we have this one here, Ode to Newfoundland. It's actually like a song. There's the music in the back. Colorful, short, interesting. Because again, Newfoundland has a very unique culture. This one is just an overview, Newfoundland and Labrador. Let's see what that looks like inside. This is A Gift of Music. This is a children's storybook. Beautiful artwork in here too. Life in Newfoundland. This one, P is for Puffin, a Newfoundland and Labrador alphabet. We've been using this series as well. There's one for each province and territory. It goes through the alphabet. Great pictures. And I really liked how they have the letter. They have a short explanation for a younger child and a more detailed explanation for an older child. So, there's Jelly Bean Row there. So that's a great book. This one is Vanished Peoples, the Archaic, Dorset, and Beothuk People of Newfoundland. Again, it's an older book, but pictures, maps, information about the history of the people. This is another Viking book, I Wonder. Again, kind of that same setup with shorter little explanations with lots of pictures and imagery for the kids. This one I found really interesting. This is Newfoundland Journey into a Lost Nation by Michael Crummy and Greg Locke. The pictures in here are really unique and interesting, showing kind of what life is like, the culture, the land, the people. I enjoyed looking through the pictures in this one. And then we have some of these books from the Canadian geographic regions as well, the Appalachian. We did not watch the video series this time, but we will be using it again in the future as well. That's what that looks like on the side. This is from the Canadian Aboriginal Art and Culture series, the Micmac. And these books are all set up a similar way as well. This is another one here, the Appalachian Highland. This is All About. It's another series. This one's a super, super simple book about the area. This one, Why I Love Newfoundland and Labrador, is a board book, and it's a series as well in most provinces and cities, the capital cities and such. So again, great bright colors with writing as well. It's a great book for younger children. This one here, Canada in the 21st Century, Newfoundland. This is an interesting one as well. It's always interesting to see the pictures. This one had more writing than pictures though. Oops. And then this is from that same series, Canadian Geographic Regions, the Canadian Shield, and again it's set up the same way. And then this book here, actually I should have shared before, Canadian Sights and Symbols is a series we're also using every unit, Newfoundland and Labrador, just because there's a few extra things in here that the close-up series doesn't have, and so we use that as well for part of our lessons. And that same series, the St. Lawrence Lowlands, again set up in the same way. Another Newfoundland and Labrador. This is Canada's, I think it's called Land and People. Yeah, Land and People series. This is a very short one, simple book again, about the area. This was another story, children's story, Jack and Mary in the Land of Thieves. It's kind of a thicker one. There's music in the back there as well. So more reading than pictures in that one. This one is The Queen of Paradise Garden. Another children's book. You can see there, it's quite thick as well. Newfoundland Tale. Another Viking book, Everything Vikings. Lots of vibrant pictures here with little explanations as well, good for younger children. And then the last one I have here is a textbook, Close Up Canada, on Canadian history. And this just kind of covers history in different places. And so I picked that up just because there wasn't as many books about Newfoundland as I had hoped. So let's see what that looks like. So those are the resources that we use for this mini unit. So that's it. Those are all the resources we use for our mini unit on Newfoundland. If you have any questions or I've missed anything, please leave it down below and I will try to answer that for you. I hope this information has been useful to you though, and if it has, please hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe. Hope you're having a great day. Take care.